one of the children killed is speaking exclusively to 11 Alive about what happened that night and the lingering questions they have about how the situation was handled. 11 Alive's Bobeth Yates has the interview you'll only see on 11 Alive. Bobeth?
Well, one of the main concerns is how the situation was handled after the crowd of kids were kicked off Atlantic Station's property, with the shooting happening nearby soon after.
Shout out to the ATL. Shout out to Georgia. I see Gaston's World is in the building. Thank you for being here. Jerry Butler, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. My guy, Derwin the Destroyer, give us some money, is here. Appreciate you. Anun Calrissian, I'm seeing the story. He black for sure, unfortunately. So I guess, we'll see what this one is. I thought this was a different story. So let's see what this is about to be. But people up here in Atlanta, y'all been showing out lately. Shout out to Georgia. Y'all been showing out lately.
We had to beg for help for hours and it didn't happen.
Denicia Charles is talking about her nephew, Zion, the 12-year-old who was shot and killed near Atlantic Station over the weekend.
And take some information from him.
Zion's family spoke exclusively to 11 Alive this week as they made funeral arrangements, hoping to prevent another family from dealing with a similar loss.
It hurts to know that my sister tried and lost her child, but she's out even at the time that she's grieving to try to help somebody else. So that's what hurts the most. I called everybody I could.
2 days after the shooting, Zion's mom, Duricia, appeared at an Atlanta Public Safety Committee meeting where she called on the city to do more to help kids, saying she had asked the police to help her son understand the consequences after he began hanging out with an older crowd and getting into trouble.
So, listen, rest in peace to this child too, okay? Rest in peace to the mama and the last one. And anybody else, the baby from Argentina, okay? This woman just said, I know she's grieving, okay? That she wanted to get the police to help her son to understand what he was doing was wrong. Wait a minute. Let me go ahead and say it for y'all even start. I ain't hear nothing about no dad, no father, no boyfriend, no husband, nada. But all these people, I'm gonna just say people, can do it all by themselves. They don't need no man. They the mama and the daddy, blah, 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 blah. We just talked about the Baltimore dude real quick where he was trying to get the police to take his damn kid because he was carjacking people, stealing cars and riding around like crazy. So y'all fail. And then you want the daggone police to help you. You mean the same police that y'all tried to defund? You mean the same police that they retired because y'all was trying to defund them? Those police? The police that can barely keep up with what is going on now, but you think they're supposed to take time out and come and see your kid, come and mentor your kid, come and talk to your kid, come and get your kid and put him in jail or scare him straight or whatever the heck it is that they think they're supposed to do. And then as soon as a cop does something to your kid, y'all already know what it's going to be. I ain't even talking about a regular deletion. It could be, he said something to me, white supremacy, discrimination, and racism. He looked at me crazy, white supremacy, discrimination. Like, this is topsy-turvy, black people, okay? Shout out to the rest of y'all. This is all freaking dysfunctional behavior that I choose not to participate in. And I choose not to acknowledge it as normal. If you choose to have a child, that's your responsibility. And let me tell you what don't work. People having children and think they're going to take care of them by themselves, women in particular, sitting up here keeping men out of their lives, their fathers, not wanting to be a cohesive nuclear family for your kid, having them grow up by way of Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and everything else, including video games, not participating in their lives, not getting them any type of activities, depending on the school completely for their education and their intelligence, and not being involved with the school. Those are the things that produce people like who we've been talking about today. In none of these stories, typically for the most part, because y'all always ask, so I've just been paying attention closer and just tell you from the gate, ain't heard nothing, don't see no father, don't see no boyfriend, don't see no dad, nothing. At least with the Bronx, but he crazy, y'all. Sorry, allegedly. That man crazy, all right? All these people know everything, and then they want to turn around, mind you, and then go to the police. So you telling me that there's no one in your family that you could go to, not even your brother, your father, a cousin, male, to talk to your kid? I mean, obviously, it seems like it was probably too late. Hell, for the 10-year-old, I think he just came out that way, but that's not the norm. I don't believe that the 10-year-old is the norm, because he seemed like he'd been crazy since he was born. Okay, there could be a history in that family. You never know. What we're not going to do is act like it's just now it's the shelter's fault. It's the police's fault. I try to get the police to help me. Like, how many freaking protests have we seen, y'all? How many protests have we seen? We don't need the police, white supremacy, discrimination, racism, but someone thinks that they're going to come to your rescue now. What? How is that making any sense?
But the family says the officer told her the offense wasn't serious enough to warrant him being held in custody.
No matter if your mom is calling, crying out to us, we can't help you or her. So for a child that's 12 years old that wants to hear it's okay to do whatever you want to do, to hear that coming from authorities and people that is here to serve and protect us, where would that take you as a child?
She's going to say that's supposed to be there to serve and protect us. Nah, child. They're there to serve and protect us from your kid, your nephew, your crazy son and nephew and his friends. They're there to protect us from them. But unfortunately, because your 12-year-old, whatever, and 10-year-olds think they can do whatever they want to do, they don't even care who the person is. Why is no one seeing this? Why is no one seeing this? They don't care. And I can't be mad at any of the divestors that say this, because it's usually boys. I mean, in this case, of course, the good mamas, we talking about good mamas, but when it's this, it is usually young Black males. It is. We can't lie and act like it's not. It ain't too many. I mean, I know these girls is crazy too, but they ain't out here doing mass shootings. They ain't typically out here red rumming people and that type stuff. Now listen, they fight their boyfriend because they mad. I ain't gonna front on that one, all right? But let's not act like I ain't got no sons, y'all, okay? I ain't got no sons. But let's not act like, because I know boys, I've seen plenty of them grow when they're between 10 and 13, like weeds. So they're going to be bigger and have a more of a heavy hand that they can deal out to the mom with no man there. No discipline from a man, no male voice, nothing. But then we want to call, like, she didn't even say she called on his damn dad. She going to go to the police? Listen, they ain't got nothing if they had to go to the police. Come on now. And then go act indignant about the fact that the policeman said ain't nothing we can do. Because I guarantee you, as soon as the policeman do something, it go wrong, they going to be suing the police. Guaranteed. Calling Black Lives Matter.
Family says Zion was at a friend's house Saturday night when they decided to join the 400 children gathering at Atlantic Station.
My son got hit by a stray bullet. My son was having a good time in Atlanta Station. He was not bothering nobody.
Who's from Atlanta? What is Atlanta Station? Anybody? Because it don't sound like something that a 12-year-old probably should be going on his own. If you're in New York, you know, certain states and cities are different. You're in New York, you don't get on school buses. Like where I live, you get on a school bus to go to school. Places like New York, you get on a bus or you get on the subway on your own and you go to school, right? So I don't know what it is like in Atlanta. So I don't know. But it don't sound like a place that a 12-year-old should be hanging out on his own. I could be wrong. All right. Shout out to Gaston. It's an outdoor mall. All right. Well, I'm going to the mall. Okay. Malls around here, kids can't be in there by themselves. They got to be with their parents after a certain time frame. Those days are over because kids don't know how to act. When I was younger, we could be in the daggone mall till it closed. These people, in some years before, you can't be in the mall by yourselves. You got to be with your parent, no matter what. If you are under 18,
He was being a child. Yeah. So now he like at the time when he was being a child, my son get hurt.
The Charles family questioned whether officers should have stayed with a crowd of kids longer as they were escorted off Atlantic Station property.
and it sounds like that's the reason why these kids around here got to have a parent with them, or they can't be in the damn mall. Because they will gather up, they'll start trouble, they'll mess around with stuff, they'll steal, they act like jackasses, they'll ruin stuff, and then they're not buying anything for the most part. They might buy pizza and a soda. What else they buying, right? They ain't going there to buy a whole Mac, probably. So they cause trouble and chaos, which is not good for business. And plus, then people don't want to come in there because you're going to be surrounded by a bunch of jackasses. So basically, they're saying that the cops should have been there to babysit their kids. That's what I'm hearing. You want your kid to be at the mall? Carry your ass down there with them, right? I don't know if that's what they do down there in Atlanta, but they was just being kids. That's all. The cops should have stayed. So what I hear is it's the policeman's fault. Y'all, if I ever miss where somebody is taking accountability, specifically a woman, please point it out to me, okay? Because I just don't be hearing it at all. Now, listen, I'm not saying she's supposed to be happy or anything about the fact that her son is deceased. But what we're not going to do is sit around here and blame the police because you done already said your son was a pain in the ass, that you needed to reach out to the police to try to help him. And now all of a sudden he's out here with his friends, the older friends that you said you didn't want him to be with, but somehow, some way he was still with them. And then it's the policeman's fault. They think the policeman's supposed to babysit their kids. That's what I hear.
To make sure it broke up. And while the police have said they believe people with gang ties were involved in the shooting, the family stresses Zion was not in a gang himself.
People are grieving. The last thing that they want to hear, not just from social media, but from outlets whenever they turn on the TV, is that their 12-year-old child was gang related because he's a Black young male.
Oh, Lord. So, y'all... Whoo, child. You please let me know if it's me. Please let me know if it's me. Please. So the outrage is the fact that he is being associated with gang members. Now, shout out to Atlanta. Let's not act like ain't no gang problem down there, okay? Let's not act like the gangs don't use minors to do their dirty work because they don't think that they will go away for long periods of time. And then that keeps the elder gang members out of jail. You went and you asked the daggone police because he was in trouble. He was hanging out with older people. He was doing whatever it is it seems like that he wanted to do. And all I hear is I called the police. They didn't want to do anything about my misguided kid. The police didn't stay down there. And I'm assuming since they're saying this, it's because he was around people who were in a gang. So would it be a far stretch, given the background information that she just gave, that he was probably in a gang? And if not, you are a product of the people that you associate yourself with. So that's another thing that I was taught when I was younger. You are a product of the company that you keep. So if your friends are sluts, that makes you a slut. If your friends do drugs, that means you do drugs by association. So by association, if that's the people that he was hanging out with, even if it may not be true, then that's what it is. Is this where the outrage is? This is where the outrage is. I just heard, this is what I hear. This is what I hear. White supremacy, racism, discrimination. Just because he's a Black kid, you're going to say that he's in a gang. White supremacy, racism, discrimination. Oh, so you're mad again? So now they're mad at the cops that they wanted to help this kid to get him straight. But now that he was down there messing around in places he shouldn't have been, now, like I said, you're going to talk about he was in a gang just because he was Black.
Now, because of the shooting, the family is calling for a revaluation of the state-run point system that determines whether a juvenile offender is detained or released. Also, if you'd like to help the family with their funeral arrangements, they have set up a GoFundMe page.
Of course they did. Of course they did. No mention. I know y'all sick of me. No mention of no man, no father, no brother, no uncle, no nothing. As the police to help your kid who's going down the wrong path, your kid that you raised. They can't help, you're mad. Your kid going someplace he ain't had no business being, you're mad that the police didn't babysit him. And then because I guess the people who were there were a part of a gang, they assume he's with the gang. And you said he was doing wrong, which is why you was looking for help from the police. But now you outraged because of the fact that they're saying that he was a part of a gang. And at the end, the cherry on top, GoFundMe, so that you could bury your kid that you needed help with. But you want to blame everyone else about what your kid did or was a part of or was trying to get into or was doing or was around. Okay. Gotcha. What else?